What happens when the most powerful seat in Europe is unexpectedly vacated? March 2020, a routine session in the European Parliament. Suddenly, Ursula von der Leyen, President of the European Commission, calmly announces her resignation. No warning, no build-up. The room freezes. Shock and confusion ripple through the chamber. Within minutes, headlines explode across Europe as leaders in Berlin, Paris, and Rome scramble for answers. A power vacuum this sudden threatens the very stability of the continent. But why did this moment hit so hard? And what was really at stake? Leadership changes are always news, but this was more than just a new face at the top. When Ursula von der Leyen suddenly announced her resignation as President of the European Commission in March 2020, shock and confusion rippled through Europe. Many leaders hadn't seen it coming. Urgent calls between Berlin, Paris, and Rome began almost instantly. Financial markets trembled, investors scrambled to assess the fallout. Von der Leyen had been a crucial balancing force since 2019, steering the EU through the pandemic, energy crises, and rising tensions. Losing her risks, unraveling years of careful compromise. But beneath the surface, Europe was already changing fast, and not in von der Leyen's favor. What was tearing Europe apart from the inside? By early 2020, the cracks in the European project were widening. Countries were no longer content to compromise. They fiercely guarded their own interests, especially on migration, economics, and sovereignty. Nationalist leaders like Viktor Orban in Hungary pushed back against deeper EU integration, while Italy's Giorgia Meloni took a hardline stance on migration. The European Commission, squeezed between integration supporters and outspoken critics, faced mounting pressure from all directions. As division grew, so did doubts about the EU's future stability. And soon, these tensions would explode into public political standoffs and dramatic failures. A sudden change at the top is just the beginning. The real threat is to the system itself. In the wake of von der Leyen's resignation, Europe's political scene fractured even further. Countries doubled down on their own national interests, especially when it came to migration. Italy, led by Giorgia Meloni, took a hard line on Brussels, demanding that the migration burden be shared more fairly. But southern and eastern European states pushed back, creating a deadlock that paralyzed action. Economic ambitions suffered too. The collapse of the EU-Mercosur trade deal became a symbol of lost momentum. Even former supporters questioned whether the Commission could still govern effectively. If these divisions persist, the very foundations of EU unity are at risk. So, what does this mean for the future of Europe, and for you? Uncertainty isn't just for politicians. It affects markets, futures, and daily life. The moment the news broke about von der Leyen's resignation, financial markets jolted. Investors scrambled, reassessing risks as Europe's political landscape shifted beneath their feet. Diplomats and governments across the continent rushed into emergency consultations, with uncertainty quickly becoming the new normal. But these leadership shocks in Brussels don't stay contained. They ripple out into national politics, shape economic prospects, and touch even your personal sense of security. Policy changes can impact everything from travel rules to trade agreements, and even job stability. The real danger? Misreading these shocks can hit your investments, your business, even your freedom to move and work within the EU. So, how should you respond to this new European uncertainty? Europe's future is being rewritten in real time. Are you watching closely enough? Von der Leyen's abrupt resignation didn't just shake Brussels. It ripped the curtain back on divisions that were simmering beneath the surface, even among her former allies. The failure to secure the Mercosur agreement had already cast doubt over the Commission's effectiveness, turning what should have been a victory into a public symbol of defeat. Suddenly, debates about leadership and strategy erupted, not just from critics, but from those who once backed her. For all of us, this moment matters. The choices made, or not made, in Europe's power corridors ripple outward, impacting markets, shaping diplomatic ties, and touching our daily lives. If we're not paying attention, we risk being caught off guard by changes that could redefine the continent's future. So, as Europe navigates this crossroads, make sure you're watching. Because what happens next won't just be news, it could be history.